Hey all, a little bit of a different one today. Every year we go on a family vacation, and during that family vacation we have to drive through a lot of the deserts of Nevada, Arizona, Utah, other places, and it's hot. And for the last few years it's been quite an adventure because our air conditioning doesn't work. And we replaced air conditioning and did all the things with the air conditioning, and come to find out it's not an air conditioning problem, it's a power problem. And our generator, this is a Generac 5500, came with a motorhome. It's been okay, have had some issues, and we've done everything to it that we can. I put a new carburetor on it, I put new voltage regulator in it, I've made it so the engine runs very well. But when you put it, and it makes voltage, but when you put it under load, it stops making voltage. So it appears that we're losing the field winding of our generator, and this generator is discontinued. None of the generator places really want to fix it. They kind of just want to sell us a new one, which would be fine, except for their $6,000 to $8,000, and they don't fit in the compartment. And so this is where it needs to go, and it slides into the compartment on these rails, which are welded to the frame. They are not welded to the compartment frame, so they don't support the load. The actual frame of the motorhome supports the load. And so what we're going to try to do is take this generator, and this is a Predator 9500 from Harbor Freight. I have one exactly like this. I've had it for 2 years out at the Springs, and it has sat out there and ran 2,000 plus hours, and it just runs and runs and runs. Few oil changes, whole bunch of fuel, and it just keeps going. Does very well, especially for the price, because this is about $2,000, $2,100 or so. This particular one I got on an open box item for $1,500, so this is a good one to try. Little story, one of these years with no air conditioning, I had this on the trailer, so rather than have no air conditioning, I just ran the cord out the back, zip tied it to the frame, zip tied it to the trailer hitch, and plugged into the generator. Let, not this one, but one very similar to this, run on the generator the entire trip, and it ran both air conditioners, and we were Beverly Hillbillies proud. So that's the goal, is to see if we can get this generator into that compartment by building basically a tray that will slide in on the same mounts that the old generator did. I've done a little pre-running. I'm not starting this fresh. I have done a bit of pre-running, and I think I can make it work. I think we're gonna have to strip it down. We're gonna have to pull the fuel tank out. And I think we're going to have to cut the top of the ears and the handles off of the plastic and everything. But I believe it will go in. I'm 100% sure I can fit it in the opening. My challenge, I believe, is going to do two things. One is the electronics. Can I get the switch and controls from this plug that used to control that generator? And can I get that plug to control this generator? So I think I can do that. I think I've got that figured out, and I'll have you follow along. And the second one is this generator has a manual choke. You turn this back and forth to start, means choke it, and then off means turn the fuel off. That's going to be a big challenge. And then fuel, how are we going to get fuel? Well, this generator had a clicky-clacky pump, fuel pump. You've all seen them. Most generators work with it. And we're going to use that same clicky-clacky pump to feed this generator. And you're going to tell me, yeah, Wayne, but this is gravity feed carburetor. It is not going to handle the pressure of a faucet, a clicky-clack pump. And I have a way around that. And so we'll walk you through that when we do it. And I think I can figure out the electronics. And so we got a lot of work ahead of us. So let's get into it. Okay, you ready? Yeah. Okay, hold it, press it up. Let go. Press it. Okay, let go. Press it. Okay, now go down. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we did the test and the start was brown and red. Start brown, red, and those are connected. The stop was, don't remember, was it green? And brown was brown and green. So it seems as though brown is our common ground. So we should get common ground. Nope. And they must be triggering a relay. So when we stop, we need to close black and green. When we're running, all open. When we start, we need to close green, black with a white. Black with a white carries power. So I think we're going to need to do is use a relay. The switch will be left on all the time. Use a relay to connect the green and the black with a white stripe wire to turn the starter over. And then we're going to need to turn it off by connecting green and black, and we'll do that. Oh, we can stop it easily. This switch stays on all the time, which is all open. We'll just close those two together with black and brown. So brown needs to be connected to green. Blue needs to be connected here. And green needs to be connected to the ground. That's our brown, right? Yes. And then we will go, the green wire will go to the black, and the blue wire will go to there, and that will connect. So let's temporarily wire that and confirm our suspicion. I'm just going to use some quick crimp connections first to start, just so we can remotely do it. These are temporarily permanent connections. Put them in there temporarily, and then the motorhome lives the rest of its life with them in there temporarily. And if I take the green off, I put this to green. I should be able to walk in the motorhome and turn that over. Sorry, dog. You can go in. Hi.
She's ready.
Okay. Want to see something? Just walk in the motorhome and just.
Does it work?
Just press the start button, or just to press. Don't hold it down. So that's one circuit, and I think I have the kill circuit done too. I think I got it. Okay, let's go eat. All right, so now we're gonna go inside and try to start the motorhome, or start the generator from inside, wire it the way it is. Then, if it starts, since we can't control the choke, we're going to see if it shuts off. Ready? Here we go. And that worked. So we are good to go. So we were able to start the motorhome from inside and turn it off, but the choke was set, so the choke was on all the time. So now we've got the electronics handled. We need to permanently install and then wire it permanently. But before we do that, we have to figure out the choke, which is going to be a bit more of a procedure. So let's get into the choke. Okay, this is the old generator, and this apparatus here is the automatic choke. And I believe what I'm going to do is just take this apparatus right off, because if you see how it works, it just has a solenoid that goes like this and then overheats and shuts off, and this, and this. I think that's just power. Power and ground, and then a signal that says that we're trying to start the generator, I believe. And so I believe I'll just take that apparatus off and see if I can retrofit that onto the other generator. Go over and look at it. The choke is here, and it is operated by so that's off, that's run, and then that is start with the choke on. So I believe all I need to do is come up with some way to put that other linkage in here. If we build a bracket off of maybe that post and that post, or that post, or that post, or that post. Everybody's got a post. I believe we can just make that work by tying it into the start solenoid, the start wire, which is this one. So just tie it into the start trigger wire solenoid. That's this one for sure. And ground, easy, and power, easy. Easy. Should be no problem. So let's take that off the other one. What, Generac? Did you only buy blue wires that day? Why? Why only blue wires? There's a couple of whites and a blacks and a red, but on all the controls, blue wires, really? Yeah. All right. We got it. We even got the washer back we dropped. Yeah, that's just a solenoid. Let's go see what we can make work. Okay, I got the choke broken down to the mechanism. My plan is to build a bracket that comes off those two posts that comes to like here, and then attached to that with either another piece of wire or I'm thinking a piece of cable, so it's flexible, and I think that will work out okay. But for now, since I have some more heavy fabrication, some wiring to do, and this is a trick I found a long time ago, is these little Tupperware containers. Get them in all different sizes. They're really cheap. They won't hold everything very long, but my shop gets messy and I lose stuff when it's like that. So I'm going to put this away for later. We're going to walk this back out onto the other generator and we're going to move on from the choke. I think we got it figured out, but we have some things we need to get done more pressing, i.e. fuel and exhaust. So here we are in the compartment. We have cut two 27-inch pieces to length. That's gonna slide in there like that, all the way across here like this, and then we're gonna weld a cradle. It's gonna be a tray. It's gonna have a piece of 1.25 inch, 1.5 tubing coming down, and then it will have another angle, 1.5 inch piece of tubing coming down, another angle coming across, and then 1.5 inch piece of tubing coming up, and then there'll be a tray at the bottom of that. This one is the next project that I'm not looking for because it is significantly taller than that. So I need to just trim that. Just cut across it, trim that. Probably use a spinning wheel of death to do that. It's the only thing in this project I'm not looking forward to. So since the mic transmitter is dying and needs a charge, I think that's a good time to do that because I can show you that without charging while the mic is charging. So let's do that. Okay, so now we have the tray welded, and generator needs to go here-ish, favoring the front, favoring the left. That's what it's going to do. It gives us a little open space here for wiring to plug to the front of the generator, to get to the controls if we need to get to the things if we need to. We need to figure out the mount and all that for the generator. The axles came off, and the axles mounted, they're going to be like this, the generator. So I would assume the generator, we could use some sort of brace here, a strap between the brace, drop the generator down onto the straps, and have these holes, this pattern drilled into them, and the screws through there, and that would be fine. That's what I think is going to happen. And then the exhaust comes out the back, has to come in and meet up with the exhaust from the old generator, and it's the same size, and it should be relatively easy. I say that now, so I think what we're going to do now is we're going to pull this into the shop, and we're going to strip it down so that we can remove the fuel tank and cut it, and then reassemble it and go from there. Off and dribble some gas down my shirt. That should be the last time we use that fuel tank on this generator. We need to be like 23 inches high, under 23. That's right there. So the go handle can't go. So I'm gonna cut it right flush with this, right? And then I believe I'll cut these brackets right flush with this. And then I believe I'll just make an aluminum sheet to go over the bolts down with weather stripping that encloses it. And then I think I have the same cooling as when the tank is on. And then we will plumb the fuel from the fuel pump that turns on whenever we have the ignition running, or the thing running, that will trigger. We'll use the one of the triggers from this switch, this start switch, which does the same thing for other things here. We'll use that to trigger a relay, fire that fuel pump, and pump it into here. What we hope is going to happen is that the carburetor is going to be fine with the 4 or 5 pounds. Should be. If it's not, we're going to have to make a return back to the tank, which there is a port available to do that, and we will tee the line. We'll come in and we'll come by, bring fuel in, and we'll tee it so that it has access to get here, and it has access to get to, and then anything that doesn't go into the carburetor can go back to the fuel line. So that's the way you handle that. We did that on bikes when we were putting tanks down on the subframe and all that stuff, to get carburetor to gravity, or I'm sorry, to get fuel to gravity fed carburetors that don't handle a lot of needle pressure or fuel pressure. You just tee that line, and it's basically just the friction of the return line, which is your pressure, which is usually about 1.5 pounds. So okay, so that's that. So I think that's where we are, is cut that off, and then we'll modify plastic, and all the plastic will go back on. All the plastic will go back on, the controls will go back on, and then we'll make a plate for the top out of some aluminum. If you use hydraulic carts, they bleed down. And so I just put a cut piece of wood, about whatever inches long, how I want it. New blade cuts way better. Okay. Probably get a grinder, clean that up a little bit, round those off a little. But what we have now is a generator that will go in, sitting flat where it is now. Will fit in 21.5. And so I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty sure that's going to be just fine. Right. I want to keep as much of the factory plastic on for sound deadening. They're pretty quiet factory, so we're going to try and keep as much of that as we can. Got to figure out the mounting now, I believe. So probably the next task is to figure out that mounting. There's one cut. Got to do some adjustments on the bandsaw. It didn't cut very straight, but I just wanted to see, I believe, what I'm probably going to do is come all the way to here, not to here, but come all the way to here and all the way to here with that top cover. Why? Just because it won't get rain. It will get splashed from driving if we drive in the rain. So I'd like to cover this up, and I'd like it to drip down past. But it will get lots of dust, and dust coming in here. I think the more dust we can keep out, although it is vented, the more dust we can keep out, the better. The one at the springs has been in numerous hundreds of 50-mile-an-hour sandstorms, and it still works fine, although sometimes I got to take the sides off just like this and blow it out, but it does stand up to the dust fine. So 3500 did fill the intake with sand and ruin it. That's the one that you may see sitting over in the corner that I can't make myself throw away. But there we go. So I'm going to cut another one. First I'm going to go adjust the bandsaw a little bit. Hi, little dog. There's my little dog. Here's what we got. In looking at it, before we get started, I'm going to put the top on because I want to see if these screws will clear. It's tight. Let's see how she goes. And impact it on. And the reason is, does it fit? Do I need to get some button head 6 125s? Probably have them. So I got the motor wiring conduit out of the way. It is now propped on the paint stick that was already precarious, so that makes it more likely it's going to fall. Beautiful. It's going to be good. All right, and again. She's low. These things leak down so fast. Okay, we're gonna go just a little higher. Get that one in. And we'll get that one in. Let's give us a little bit more. Should be it. Okay, that's in. How are we looking? How are we looking? Oof. Need some weight on it to do it. But don't push on this, push on this. I'm gonna get gloves. Well, that's almost. Great. Yay. Okay. Now we can raise this off the latch. It did its job. Yay! All right. Okay, so the good news is it's in. It's in. There's room here. It's sitting like that. It should be just fine. There's room. I'll have to relocate that to there, which works just fine. That means it's out of the way all the time. I'll connect everything to the power. There's enough room to do that. I'll make some pigtails so they're done before I get there. I can reach the, ow, that's sharp. I need to fix that. I can reach the choke. If I need to do that and can't figure out the choke, I can reach the start for the manual start if I'm diagnosing. I can get the air filter and the battery. I don't think I can change oil on this side. I think I'll need to run it out to change oil, but maybe we can fix that. So I'm not disappointed in that. I like this. I'm just gonna slide underneath and have a look and see where exhaust kind of hits. I guess I could do that. Yeah, so yeah, well, I think I like it. Let's see if the door closes. That'd be good. Sweet. So that's good. Door closes. I think if we make, well, I think we just leave this alone. Make a single cross there and run the exhaust down. Wire everything here. I can bolt this up. I'm confident in it. It doesn't, but it's really close, so that can share some load. I'm really good with it. I'm okay with it. I think we're fine. The only thing I want to do right now is slide under and have a look where exhaust hits and do all that good stuff. So just to make sure everything's okay. I'm sure it is, but I'm not sure it is. I'm sure we can make it work. There you go. I'm sure we can figure it out. Hey, you. Hey, little. Oh, the exhaust will be good. It's about 3 to the center from the edge, maybe a little more. 3.5-ish to the center from the edge. Should get a little closer as it swings. But it fits. It will go. We can put a turn down. Yeah, I'm not unhappy with that at all. So this exhaust here. Set this down. This is the exhaust from the old generator. It comes up, connects right here. So we come out, 9 inches, have to come over and down. But that should not be too hard to find a couple of 90s, some 1.5-inch tube. I know we have that. We'll be good. This is the main electrical. We'll just move it, probably shorten it up a bit, get it closer to us. Move it, same as this, just tap it right into there. Probably cut this back a little so it sits right here-ish. Maybe take that out and see if we can't move it around without cutting it. I don't know. But we're getting closer. Pull this top off, weld up the returns, pull the tray out that I put in last night, weld in a so that this back piece is open. We'll leave this piece solid to mount fuel pump and stuff, and then we'll, because this generator sits back against this, so this will be open. Exhaust will come here, out, probably over and down, and connect with the factory, and this will be open right here. So I'm just going to lift this off and get going on all that. Okay, so I got the electrical moved to a place I think it will be happy and out of the way. There's the fuel line back there. There's a power line we can probably tap off of just for some temp power for that fuel pump if we need to. And then there's the exhaust that we can muck up there, lift up there on a jack stand and figure out what we need to do. So that's what this go is about. I'm also going to run it. I'm going to try to run it on the faucet on the motorhome fuel tank. So let's get into it. If you can hear that, that's the faucet pump running, and that is the faucet pump making the carb leak. Huh. So this is going to go 5.5 like this. That gives us that open back. That'll give us that open back for the exhaust to go through and have airflow. So I'll get this sized and welded up, but what I wanted to show you here was I'm going to do something different on this one. Allergy attack. Excuse me. I'm going to do something different on this one. I'm going to, once I get it in, I'm going to mark like that, and I'm going to cut this portion out so that it sits down flush. And that way I got a square box. I can use the whole 1.25 inches, and it doesn't raise the generator at all with this being up. So that's the goal for this. So let's we'll do that right here. Here's a trick that I learned. Doesn't need to be Lucas penetrating oil, which works well, but some sort of penetrating, some sort of lubrication for the blade as it goes through. You'll be surprised how much better it works. And just act like it's a piece of plywood. Not a terrible cut. Sharp. You got to dress them. You know if they're going to be exposed or whatever. But for this, we're just going to drill some holes for the screws, and then we're going to run them in. Here we are. We're the next day, beginning of the third and a half day. It's in. It's installed. It runs. We figured out the choke, but we didn't show any of that because that is a video unto itself. But we will put that out later. I'll show you that and show you how I figured that out. It was a project. So let's fire it up. It's been running for about 3 hours. Runs good, runs both air conditioners. It's really cold in the motorhome right now. So we're gonna fire it up from inside and we're gonna shut it off. So let's do that. All right, here we go, starting. And she's running. We're good. Everything's good, it's running. And now the best part is, do you want to shut it off? It fills the exhaust full of fumes and then gives you a little pop. It's great fun. Ah, didn't do it. Oh well. So there it is. It's installed. We have a little bit of cleanup to do, but it went pretty well. It's a lot of work, and I'll give you my review of it in the ender. All right, so that was a lot of work. So I'm gonna put this right squarely in that category of Wayneisms, where Wayne's Way usually spends about $3,000 to save $4,000. This might be inching up to the spent $4,000 to save $4,000, but it's in and running. It was a lot of work. We figured out the problems. We just figured out systematically the problems we need to figure out, make work, and we did it. I enjoyed doing that a great deal. I know it was long. It was a lot of work though, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, give us a like, and also recommend us and share us with your friends. We really appreciate it. We like doing the videos. Thanks for watching.